guys. So, welcome out to another episode. We're missing people again. So, like always, when we're missing some people for our main campaign, we go back into the Helsing Chronicles.
That camera is low.
That camera is low?
Yes.
You have to do the bottom one. That one keeps falling.
Okay, let's just move a little closer so I can adjust it because the cord is...
Oh, a bit lower. A bit lower.
Too low to make up.
That's
right.
It works, you know.
Alright, so, last that we left the Helsing family here, we found the family of the siblings by the names of Damon, Lana, and Adonis had met up with their uncle Silas and their younger sister Honey in this town that was deserted, where everyone was butchered. It was here that they discovered a mansion that had many rooms to it, all filled with art pieces, oddly enough of Honey and her twin sister Graceland. It was very interesting, as every picture, oddly enough, seemed to depict a different scene, almost picturesque, of what was happening at a current time following these two young girls. Sadly enough, Graceland has since disappeared, taken by this entity of sorts after a interesting row in this lovely mansion of sorts. A chalice was found by Adonis.
I had a refreshing drink.
Very, very, very interesting chalice. Very odd looking, elegant, yet very plain. It was during this time that it was seen to that they had to actually save Honey from a pocket dimension of sorts that was slowly and surely closing in on her. Luckily, after some great detective work by the group, by the family, that them, including their uncle Victor, who they saved because they came into the house, minus his hand.
You reattached it.
Sort of, yeah, you did. Totally, after some great checks. And found saving Honey, making their way back to the chalice, where Graceland, in this dark figure, interesting looking man, he took Graceland and they seemed to just disappear into thin air. The chalice was still in Adonis's hand, where he then, trying to discover more what was going on, poured some liquid of his lovely alcohol into it, drank it, and passed out. As his eyes rolled back into his head, and he seemed to go stiff as a board and fall backwards, the chalice falling out of his hand and rolling across the floor. It was then that all around the illusion seemed to fall, as the mansion was all of a sudden in crumbles, as if it had been abandoned for years. Holes in the walls, staircases broken. Looking out upon the village, it looked as if the village has been abandoned for 10 plus years, houses falling in, bones littering everywhere. And the church where you had met these disciples and these people who were still alive looks to be completely crumbled in. And that is where we've left the Helsing family. As Honey and Silas quickly made an escape, trying to get Honey to safety, very much against her will, as Silas looked at you guys drawing a circle of sorts and teleporting away very quickly with her, and using a scroll and asking you guys to try to figure out what to do next as he went back to your base of operations, your home. And with that, the time is yours to figure out what to do to how to pick up these broken pieces and fragments that you've discovered.
Let's start by going over to my older brother and poking him. Checking for a pulse first, actually, maybe.
He does have a pulse, yes.
You just take a stick.
Great, alright, he has a pulse. So I'm just gonna kind of pat the side of his face. Any response?
Just none. He has a pulse. He's breathing still. His eyes are oddly still open, and you now look as looks like one of them is rolled back completely white, and the other one's just there staring straight ahead.
I mean, I could just slap him really hard.
Oh, I was already thinking about it.
I mean, you could just do it and then try and figure out what's wrong with him in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slap him.
I was gonna say.
Hey, he did something
You
stupid, so.
go to slap him, and as you slap, normally it gives when it hits, and as you hit, it's like hitting a wall. It hurt your wrist.
Gross.
Okay, well, it's not rigor mortis because he's not dead. Just waving my hands in front of his face. I'm not a healer. What's wrong with him? This is in your realm.
Fine. I will do my best to. Can I make a medicine check to see if I can find anything externally wrong with him? Considering that to figure out what's internally wrong with him, I'd have to dissect him.
Go ahead and make a medicine check.
Okay. Where's my D20? Here it is. Oh, okay, so that's 11. With a 2.
Well, he's alive.
That's good news.
You don't know why. Obviously, has something to do with the chalice, you're pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because right
I think I'm
after
more
he
focused
drank,
on-
he went.
I'm not paying attention too much. I'm kind of more focused on. I could maybe slap him harder, and then maybe his face would have moved. But
Get a battering ram.
How many
Breaks
times
the neck.
do we try to hit him before actually being productive? That's the real question here.
Give me a second while I look at something. It's not gonna work.
As you guys are discussing this, all of a sudden, you all hear a voice. And the voice is, and this is how it will be if you do not achieve what I have shown. And at that point, you watch as all of a sudden he's being blinking, starting to move, and you watch as this eye's moving and this one is still completely white.
I slapped that side of his It's like, come on!
So as you're sitting there kind of
Fix
moving,
the eye.
you
Yeah,
come into
fix
focus,
the
and
eye.
right as you come into focus, you all of a sudden get slapped across the left side of your face hard.
Yeah, that didn't seem to work. That eye's still weird.
Be like,
We're both just standing over you.
since my left eye is apparently the one I'm gonna have to turn even more. What is?
And at this point, all the memories come flooding back to you.
So,
Where's Honey?
uh,
I don't.
Silas took her home to try to keep her safe.
At this point,
Anything else happen?
your uncle Victor walks up to you, reaches out his hand to pull you up.
I love how we just sat there and watched us beat
Pulls
our
you up
brother.
and goes, "So, I see you have a matching eye to mine now. and you see there's a deep scar that runs down his face, and his eye completely whited over.
Is it the same reason?
Unless you got scratched by the fang of a wonderful, wonderful minotaur, then I would say no.
Alright then, no. Alright. What now? Oh, I know what. I'm gonna go up to him and slap him.
I'm gonna try and dodge.
Make an attack roll.
7 plus any modifiers?
It's gonna be dexterity, right?
Say if it's monk, it's dex plus
11.
Ooh.
So it's dex.
plus proficiency.
Yep.
Ah, damn. I forgot about
Because you're
proficiency.
monk.
Damn.
Yeah.
That definitely fits.
16.
Then yeah.
So you just all of a sudden see him walk
Oh,
over
let's
to
make
you,
it.
and fast. You go to
Dude.
dodge out of the way as you get one of the hardest slaps. Go ahead and roll damage.
Alright, and it's unarmed, that's D4, right?
Whatever your-
At this level, it's
Whatever
different.
your monk.
Yeah, whatever monk level.
It should show you on your.
Um,
I think it's a D.
It's either D4 or D6 at this point.
I
I'm
think
not
it's
sure.
a D6 still.
Well, I'll just roll a D6. Tree.
Plus your dex.
Plus my dex. 7.
And it's plus proficiency.
Oh, I am
believe,
plus
right?
proficiency.
No, you don't add proficiency to
Aw.
damage.
Alright,
Yeah,
you
I don't
take.
think so.
I'll
So-
half it just because it
Tenson
wasn't
would've
big.
done a lot
You take
more
three.
damage that way.
You take 3 points of bitch slapping damage.
I did bitch slap him twice, so I'm still winning.
Your wrist still hurts from the first slap.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ladies,
Still slapped
ladies,
him
you're
twice.
both pretty.
I know I am.
Am I?
Eh.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So-
I mean, we have to hold out hope. You're my twin. So, I mean. Maybe I took all the pretty. Unfortunate for you.
Anyway, so you're not dead, right? You're not like some walking corpse or anything?
Can't you check
If I'm
that?
dead and I'm still with you guys, then this must be hell.
Well, have we learned our lesson about drinking things from strange cups?
I think I learned a lesson.
Was it, don't do it?
No.
Of course it wasn't.
At this point, Victor kind of looks. We should probably go. I don't feel comfortable in this building because it looks like it's gonna collapse.
It's definitely not up to code.
At this point, he begins walking away.
And I'll just scoop up the cup and go back and head out.
I will just walk out and just. Did anyone else hear the voice?
I mean, the creepy one that came out of nowhere?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was creepy, perchance. More like,
Ominous?
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't help in this situation because we have
I'm gonna have
no
to
idea
drink
what's
on
still
this.
going on.
At this point, you see him kind of pull out a flask, drink, and go, definitely gonna have to drink on this. And he just starts drinking.
And it didn't sound like the creepy voice that.
No.
Okay. I was gonna say, so it was different.
At this point, you see him, you guys kind of make your way out of the house to the courtyard. And as you're coming out of the house where all the bodies were hung, you just see what's left of clothes and bones litter everywhere. It's almost as if you saw the past in a way.
Have any of us ever heard Lathander's voice?
Not even the cleric.
Gods will give you power and things, but you don't often hear their voices ever. So, at this point, Victor just kind of sticks his 2 fingers up and just makes this loud whistle that like hurts all of your ears. And he says, "All right, our horses, they should be on their way now."
Alright. Do you finally think that maybe coming here with a first time monster hunter all by yourself was a bad idea?
But it was my brother, idiot.
You brought Graceland.
No. I did not bring Graceland. She followed me.
Okay, so you were gonna come here by yourself. Also a bad plan.
No, not a bad plan. She was following behind me on her first mission. I I was to make sure everything was okay. And she caught up with me, and we went on the mission, and I thought it was a great first mission for her.
She got kidnapped.
On my first mission, I got gored.
Okay.
But we at least know you're still alive.
Yeah.
But we know she's still alive, too.
Oh.
She was in front of our eyes.
Okay, but obviously a lot of that was illusion.
If it,
Obviously. I'm not stupid.
Well, I'm just saying, we don't know for sure if she's still
I
alive.
have been doing this longer than both of you are old, combined.
I'm just gonna, like, after she says we don't know if she's alive, I'm just like, she's still alive.
See, learn from your older brother.
nah.
You're Adonis. When we get back, help me think of punishment for them.
Drink from the cup.
He just kind of nods and goes, "Be smart." Kind of looks at you guys
Good.
very menacingly.
Good, I don't want that whole situation.
They just don't know what good looks look like, obviously.
Makes
Just
me-
kind of cracks
makes you
his
more
neck.
ragged.
At this point, all your horses come up, including the horses for, looks like, Gracelyn, Silas, and Honey.
Well,
He goes, alright, so, I say we make our way back home. I believe that, at this point, that, from what I saw of my brother's writings on the ground, he took our lovely, lovely family back to the main estate in Cairn where all of you trained initially.
alright.
So I believe we make our way back to the estate here in Haruzda, and we transport our way over there because I don't like ships. I get seasick.
Alright, well. I mean, shouldn't we maybe try to find, like, hunt down the demon thing that kidnapped our sister? Just maybe?
We have no idea where it went, if it's still on this plane of existence, what it's doing, or why it did this to begin with. We have no leads either.
And that is why I took you on as my apprentice in the medical arts. He knows how to dissect a problem, much like a body.
Again,
One is easier
as
than the
this
other, though.
strange conversation is, I'm just gonna like take my small knife and kind of like cut my wrist a little bit. Is the blood a different color?
It's darker.
With a passive perception of 24, would I notice my brother cutting his own wrist?
I would say no.
Do we see him just pull out a dagger?
Well, the thing is, you have to realize a lot of you just like play with your daggers and like go in between your fingers, come and just. You guys have been around weapons your entire life, so having one out and just messing with it and doing something is not uncommon.
And I would like to taste it. Does it taste like normal blood?
Tastes like cola. I'm joking. No.
Hot dog.
It does
Yes,
taste.
sir.
It does taste like it, and you just did a little bit, and as you kind of see, it's dark, but you see within it seem to be shimmering parts of gold.
It tastes like marshmallow peeps.
Marshmallow peeps, yes. It tastes like blood, though it has a lot stronger taste of iron and the smell of iron to it.
Okay. It's like syrup now.
At this point,
I'm
you guys,
Canadian.
Someone gets it. Sorry, Canadians.
so at this point, you guys have all mounted and begin making your way down the hall or down the main road of town, and you see to your left now the now crumbled down church. With the dried blood stains all down it.
Has taken a crazy amount of magic.
This place is
For the
pissing me
illusion.
off.
For those illusions, like they were real. We were on the roof.
Yep. Which makes me think, probably not an illusion.
this point, Victor is like, actually, my young apprentice. He says it very condescendingly to you.
Of course.
Because there are illusion magics that I have seen and heard of that are actually able to take corporeal form. Just very, very powerful, and one that large. A lot of magic behind that. It's a spell and magic of the highest degree, actually, within those schools of magic.
I could imagine doing a building, but several buildings, a town, and some crazy keep castle or whatever. Now, that's the thing that's terrifying, because I don't know about you guys, but
The amount of magic that has to take.
or what type of being has that kind of power. I doubt any mortal person at all would be able to muster enough power to constantly keep that going.
Oh, it's not as hard as you think it is. There are, I believe, actually, this area, this used to be village, is actually on a ley line. I don't know how well what you know about that, but ley lines tend to be parts of magic where certain areas of the world kind of cross, and in those areas the veil is weaker on the other between the other sides and the planes, as well as there's can be a very significant amount of magic. Though to channel that is being studied by the wizard schools, and to harness it is very difficult to do it successfully, though there are at least several accounts that I know of that have had found success in that. The if you head to the conglomerate Vestul, they have a main island in the center that kind of acts as a I guess capital to the conglomerate, and it is there that the city is built upon multiple intersecting ley lines, and those ley lines allow for the fountains to generate water on their own, allow fires to be continuously burning, as well as every household has these amazing, phenomenally beautiful structures and other things of just magical marvel, things that wouldn't be achieved elsewhere. It's why there that many of the wizarding schools are housed, because of that.
What did the cup that he drank from and was kind of like, kind of stuck to the ground, what was it made out of, and what did it look like?
It looked to be a very faded brass with
Holy Grail.
with silver kind of wrapped down it, though the silver looked to be not tarnished as if it was a true silver.
Okay.
It looked very simple in its making, but again, it was so simple looking, but at the same time, it was very elegant, and it was one that would not bring a lot of attention, but when it was noticed, it would be admired because the craftsmanship is so fine and detailed, and whoever made it, obviously, is magical in nature, but at the same time, it was well crafted, and time, energy, thought was spent on this great thought.
Okay. That just gave me something to think about.
About this point, you guys begin riding off on your steeds, making your way back. We're just gonna jump forward unless there's anything to talk about here.
So,
Nothing, okay.
No.
You guys jump your way back, and you find yourselves now a couple weeks ride in, going through the gates to the family estate. With lush, green, beautiful lawns, flower beds all around. Very ornate looking. Looks like, obviously, you guys know you do have money. and you kind of make your way up, stable your horses within this very large stable, and you see the stable hand, who is old man by the name of Old Man Jenkins.
Old Man Jenkins.
And Old Man Jenkins is this small, knobbly human that has been for the family as long as you all can remember. And he's just, I see. Oh, you're missing two. I assume nothing. They're not dead yet. Three. Oh, no one's dead, right?
2 out of 3. Yes, maybe.
Sure. That 2 out of the 3.
I don't trust you two. Adonis, Victor.
Well, this is...
Are they alive?
Yes.
Okay. You two are too young still. Way too young. He grew up with your guys' craziness, your pranks, your stupid stuff, and he's holding a grudge against you two still. Alright, I'll take your horses. I thought I was gonna have to talk to these other 3 and explain what happened, but since they're alive. He kind of takes all the horses and begins stabling them, taking out their saddles. And you guys begin making your way up the beautiful marble walkways up to the main family estate. And up there waiting, you see your parents, who are all standing there just kind of looking over at you, waiting for you to come up.
Gonna let Adonis go in the front.
She's just pushing me out. Yeah, I'll just walk casually.
Your mother's name is Lila. Oh, you've probably called her mom.
Mother.
Mother. Yeah, sorry, one sec. And your father's name is Jack. And to a way to kind of describe your guys' parents is think very the bond they have with each other is very Addams Family like. The parents in Addams Family like teach Addams and stuff, and Gomez, right? Very similar. They're both very dapper, striking people. They're very, very sensual, very loving towards each other. They have the love that is like once in 1,000 years. They love each other, do everything together, they hunt together. You guys have gone on a couple hunts with them, watched them growing up and things, and they'd be in the middle of combat fighting, and you'd watch as your father would like catch your mother, spin her around like dancing, and like kiss her mid-swing with a sword and stuff. It made some of you gag, but at the same time, you guys, your parents' relationship is something that you guys very much admire for how much they love each other and how much they actually really do love you guys. The family that you grew up in was one of love, caring, because they knew that maybe one of you or one of them would end up not coming back. And so you guys grew up knowing that love was the biggest thing for you guys. Both of your family, parents, have this jet black hair. Your mother actually has a white streak in hers as well. And your father, well-scarred arms and stuff, though his face is still very pristine with this lovely, lovely goatee in black. It now has peppery and gray coming into it. They both are standing there, both in very good-looking suits and gear and stuff, just looking very nice, and actually next to them is standing... Go ahead, introduce your character. First we'll start with the relationship between the family here.
I will be like from the main family, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait, were y'all in the main family?
Yeah, so that's they're the
family?
you guys are all kind of, this is the main line of the family.
Okay.
But I mean, there's gonna be cousins.
But there's
Yeah,
cousins and other things
no.
like that.
Yeah.
Still in the main line.
I will be some cousin.
Okay, yeah, you're the cousin of your father's brother. So
As opposed to just the cousin of my father, or their father.
yeah, opposed to.
Okay.
Can't think.
I think
Okay.
he's saying that your father is the brother to our father, but I think it just came out jumbled.
Yeah, so jumbled. All right, so
So it is a 6'5" human with long red hair, bit past shoulder length, but primarily like behind the shoulders, you know. Has a great sword with its handle coming out this way, and a long sword with the handle coming out this way, and a shield on the back. Just kind of
and
standing there.
what was your name?
Conrad.
I love it. So you guys do see your cousin Conrad there. Just
like a Disney movie.
Disney character. Next thing you know, he's gonna be breaking
Cousin
out in this
Conrad's
song.
come to
Actually,
visit, kids. You better behave.
My neighbor Conrad.
so you guys do see your cousin Conrad there, who is quite a bit older than you two. Same age, I'm guessing, as Adonis. A bit older.
Yeah, sure. How old's Adonis?
Adonis, how old are you?
Later 20s, I think.
Yeah.
I figured. So him and your other brother trained together, actually, and I would assume you guys actually have a decent friendship.
Yeah.
Sure.
You
So-
train with people your age, right? So you
Predominantly, yes.
So
So
we
you guys
definitely
do know your cousin.
yeah.
You guys did watch growing up as him and Adonis stomped around training, messing around and stuff, and excluding both of you from their hijinks and adventures.
That's why we are now assholes.
So, yeah, you guys do see him standing next to him, and at this, your mother's like, so, I received word from your uncle. We, heard about, what happened, but I would like to meet you all in the tea room, where we will all have tea, and some refreshments from your journeys. And I would like to hear what you guys are thoughts on this. And I will probably be sending all of you to cater. And she goes, alright, chop chop, my little younglings. I love you all, by the way. And you see her just kind of snuggle into your guys' dad and just kind of lay your shoulder, let's go. And at this point, your dad, Jack, kind of sticks out his arm and goes, my dear. And it kind of grabs the arm, and they kind of almost waltz off, expecting you guys to follow.
DM.
Yes.
Does our house have like a kind of archive or library?
It does, yes.
Okay. I'm going there first. Because I am looking up a few things.
At this point, they're walking in, and you go to make a separate turn. At this point, you watch as your mom stops and turns her head towards you.
I turn my head towards hers.
And she just, all of a sudden her eyes just glare like this, and you see this deep, like, fire in her eyes.
I need to look something up, okay?
She doesn't say anything, just stares at you.
I really don't want to get in trouble. Please come with us first.
As she does that, you see her smile come back, and just the smile in her eyes also comes back. She nods and begins waltzing off with your father again. Kind of got in the way. And at this point, Victor comes up, puts his hand on your shoulder, goes, my sister's a little scary, I know, but she is your mother.
This is something I need to look up. If it doesn't pan out, whatever.
I'll just
God.
come
She's
up
gone.
behind them. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
At this
Push
point,
them towards.
you
I'm
have
already moving.
both Victor and Adonis on both sides of you, and they both kind of take you from behind, and they both shove you forward. You're almost tripping over your feet for a second as they do that.
Okay.
Oh, what a fun meeting this will be.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
this point, Victor goes, Conrad, my good boy. How are you doing? I assume your last venture and hunt went really well?
It did. I cut that beast in half.
I'm glad they sent you after those werewolves. You didn't get bit, did you?
No.
Oh, man. It would have been fun to have a werewolf in the family. Oh, I'd probably have to kill you eventually, but point aside.
That would give some very great benefits.
But it would, wouldn't it? You know, me and Adonis were talking on the journey over here. We were talking about what if we became vampires, but instead of drinking blood, we drink alcohol and wine. Yes.
Mm.
That's why we get along. Oh, speaking of that, he kind of pulls out his flask. Do you want a drink?
Yes.
He's like, don't worry, we'll pour some in the tea later.
Okay. And I
Just
will.
hands it over to you.
There you go.
You guys make your way down this very beautiful marble hallway, lit with torches, windows across all around, a skylight over the top, well lit, and you guys make your way to a room with a very, very lovely rugs across the ground and these big, stuffy, well-stuffed, beautiful, comfortable armchairs that have been well used and been restuffed multiple times with a lovely large fire just blazing there with all these
And I was
books,
just saying, does Adonis immediately go to the
books
fire?
and artifacts all across the
You just
walls.
hear this just like grinding as I'm pulling a chair.
His eyes.
Oddly enough, as you go to do that, you see, as you go to pull a chair, your mother's pulling one also towards it.
Freaking moths. Like,
At this point, you guys both are like probably this far from the fire. You and your mom are just like, I'll be to the fire. And you guys know that your mother loves the fire as much as Adonis, and your father is very much like you guys, likes the cold. And you guys know that very much that as you were growing up, this is the one time your father and mother aren't that lovey-dovey, is when there's a big fire in the room.
oh god, it's like 100 degrees in here. That'd be like perfect.
At this point, he just kind of goes up and he opens the window for a breeze to come
And
through.
we'll go stand by the window.
So you guys are both kind of like right there, and then the windows to the side, you guys are all crowded towards that. And you watch as your guys' servant, a very old dwarven man.
Chauncey?
His name is actually Jeeves. Thank you very much.
Alright, that's a good one.
So we have Jeeves, that kind of comes in, and he goes, oh, very well, comes in, starts pouring tea for everybody, and just kind of all hands you platters as he goes, and then kind of has another table, and you watch him from behind pull out a handkerchief and just and like go down, and he goes, Bonjour, like that, and you watch as there's all these cakes and other little sandwiches appear. He goes, huh, very well done. I am, if you don't need anything else, just, we'll go now. I need to go help Chauncey with the laundry.
I will begin eating sandwiches.
And he goes, very well. Kind of bows to you guys, kind of walks off.
Have a good night, Jeeves.
And you too, madam. Don't do anything that is going to get you in trouble. I already had to clean up your last prank. And it walks off.
Yeah,
You-
I don't know.
that's-
I don't know anything.
I like the idea that you guys do so many you just don't remember.
I feel like they happen and they just get blamed on us at this point.
At this point, you guys do know that any prank or anything that goes awry is blamed on you.
I don't think we've done a prank in like 6 years.
I don't know.
Everything just from your childhood, because you were young and mischievous twins.
And so it's just carried on.
It
And
just-
anything
it's
that
carried
happens
on
is-
since
Oh no,
then.
everything's on fire.
We
over
weren't
there.
even here. But it's still our fault.
That's kind of how it works most of the time. So, with that, you guys kind of all sit there, and your father kind of just, all right. How How was the journey, guys?
Nuts.
Probably could have ended better.
That's what I heard, yes.
Yeah.
We're not dead.
You know, that's a successful journey.
Anywho.
Yes.
Would you
Brother,
mind sharing that with the class?
I was gonna say.
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah. Just some things we'd like to research later.
Seem very
You know,
prominent in
important.
this situation.
Well, good thing we have a archive downstairs.
Yes. Where we would like to go.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually, don't worry.
I'm just gonna yell out across the room, brother. Since you father is asking, would you mind filling him in?
What that you
Yes,
think
please do. Please fill us
I'd
in.
rather not yell the whole time.
also doesn't help that Kyle probably doesn't remember anything.
What are you implying? The fact
That you can't remember Jack anything, dude. We all know.
The fact that I just asked him your names and he's like, I don't know.
Alright, really quick.
Precisely why
Damon.
I called you brother.
It is Damon. I just blanked on my name. Lana.
Lana,
Okay.
Adonis,
Alright.
and that's all you need to remember right
Right.
now.
God. Ugh. Fucking hell.
I'll just whisper to my mom, would you care for some, like a treat or something?
She looks.
He is such a
She,
mama's
he
boy.
kind of looks at. She looks at you and goes, "Oh, yes, of course. You already know what I like. You guys literally have the exact same taste in everything."
Hearing this, I will just, since I'm already eating sandwiches, I will just pick it up with one hand, and as I continue eating, walk over there.
just eating and drinking at the same exact time.
You also grab a plate of sweets, of like cakes and stuff, because you do know Adonis has a sweet tooth.
Okay.
As I go get like 30 cubes of sugar for my tea.
You do,
And
yes.
just eat them all. Then drink the tea.
Takes a sugar in his mouth, takes a sip of tea, and then takes another thing of sugar, sips the tea. At this point, your mother goes, so, Damon, please elaborate what happened a little bit more. Ledgers can only do so much.
Okay, so let's see. We arrive in town. Town is covered in fog.
Bodies.
Bodies, well, we'll get to that in just a second. We get there. He starts making a fire because he's a lizard.
I would have done the same thing. Good job.
We find a house. It seems that it
First
was.
rule in survival.
But
Exactly.
but wait. Would you have stopped the search for your brother to break into a house and start a fire?
Yes.
Was it raining?
It had been.
Then yes, I would have. At this point, your father kind of turns to you and goes, "She would have."
You can't search that well if you have hypothermia.
Also can't search if you're not looking, so. Anywho, so, find a house. If I remember correctly, the back wall had been broken out of, or was it into?
I don't know.
I
Because
can't
he was
remember
in
that.
that house with the fire, and I was looking at the house across the street, and that's where I
Yeah.
found the head.
Yeah, there was a severed, was it a severed head?
It was a head on a
Yeah.
stick.
Ah, yes, it was a head on a stake. We found bodies, blood trails. We found a church. They were assholes.
Yeah.
Are you sure they were assholes, or it was just
Yep,
you two?
totally assholes.
They drew the weapons first.
The father was quite
We were just
nice
trying
me,
to
be
make sure they
honest.
were.
She just kind of nods understandingly.
We were just trying to make sure they were alive.
Considering that all
They did not
evidence
appreciate
pointed
it.
towards that everyone there was most likely dead. So, found them, talked to them. We were on our way to look at the main keep when there was a scream.
Where were all
I was
the
gonna say,
bodies at?
we were in there. Then there was the scream. Then there was a head thrown at the door.
There was
Did
also a
With an
hand.
invitation.
Did you find it? The bodies, were they all dead?
It was heads mostly.
Or heads mostly. Oh.
We did find the bodies, but that's
Did they use them for
later.
interior decorating?
Fucking hell.
Why would they? Why is that their first thought?
Who fucking cares?
No, like our mom and our
Oh.
brother. Why is it their first thought?
It's a perfectly rational thought.
It is, isn't it, right?
No. Why would it just?
At this point, your father kind of comes up behind both of you and goes, "Just smile and nod."
Anywho,
That's that. Just smile and
So-
nod. That is what I've learned.
so not only was there a head, there was a severed hand.
It's a great way to issue a duel, by the way.
It had a letter in it.
Yep.
It was Uncle Victor's.
He goes, "I got it back, though. I got it back."
Surprisingly, yes. Nuts, that's what it was. We go there.
He's really good. Your son is. Just
There
let you know.
was.
And your daughter.
Let's see. There were guards.
Wasn't it him and
I don't remember.
It was
It's been
me
a
and
while.
Honey. It was me and Honey.
Okay, it was you and Honey. Yep.
Yeah, I did the medicine check to see how well it was, and then she just went on and just healed it. It was just like, okay, let's go.
Honey's a badass.
But
right, they were. I forgot. She was like a barbarian cleric, no, paladin, barbarian,
Something
paladin,
mess.
straight paladin, something I don't remember anymore.
But there were guards, had their mouths stitched shut. Entered. That's where the bodies were for fucking interior decorating. More than just interior decorating with bodies.
But there was
Pile.
interior decorating?
Yes.
Okay.
But the bodies had been piled up to the ceiling. There were several chambers, one that seemed to have some sort of
Before we
weird...
went in, though, that's where we ran into Silas and Honey.
Yes, that is where we met them. We met them there.
I did almost shoot them.
Yes, but that's only reasonable considering that we thought we were the only people there, and we were with the assumption anything in here was out to kill us. But entered one room, some sort of weird ritual, blood, magic, or whatever. Burned the shit out of that.
So now thinking back, it was probably just an illusion.
No, because it was like we tried to move it and it went right back into place, and then we hit it with holy fire and normal fire, and it disappeared.
But it still could have just been part of the whole illusion thing, and then we just wasted all the time getting rid of it, and maybe it was nothing.
Yeah, but better safe than sorry when it
Yeah.
comes to who knows what the hell happened
So,
there.
Adonis, they are on a tangent. What happened next?
Really? You're gonna ask him what happened next?
You guys realize for about a minute and a half you guys were just having a conversation between each other.
And you just see me just like, oh.
Well, first of all, he was stupid enough to drink out of a cup that could have killed him.
That was later.
That was the final thing. But what happened next, we entered a room, we found Uncle Victor attached to a table with said severed hand, which we healed and put back on. Room started filling up with gas. Entered through a trapdoor on the top of the roof or ceiling into another room that had both statues of Graceland and Honey in two different rooms.
No.
Really quick. Was your uncle attached with rope or chains?
I think it was
Or manacles?
leather bindings like for surgery.
Leather bindings. You see, you just look over at your dad.
Anywho, the room that we entered, statues and pictures.
The first one was Graceland. There was room for each of them.
Yes, for both Graceland and Honey, both of them had a creepy room with statues and paintings that, when you shook them, showed what looked like them in real time. It was actually showing them currently.
So no, it wasn't statue rooms. Each one had paintings on the wall, and they were moving forward in time until just about where we were.
Yes, and then
the room with the picture
Adonis
frames.
took one off, and something led to him shaking it, and then it became a very current image of Honey. Let's see. Then Honey disappeared. Something
Okay.
happened. The room started to get dangerously hot.
Getting her back was a pain.
Yes.
But you got it back, yes?
Yes.
Sounds like a great first hunt for her.
Gracelyn was there as well. Oh yeah, apparently someone or something knocked out Uncle Victor, which is why he was strapped to a table.
Okay. Strapped to a table. We'll go with that. It was against his will.
They cut his hand off. So we went up a spire or tower of some sort that when we reached the top, there was Gracelyn, and then she walked off the edge into the air, then disappeared. We found her again.
At the
with-
bottom.
No, we found her
No,
again.
she walked.
Oh, you weren't there. Never mind. Oh.
She walked through air and then just was gone.
Found her again in a room where it felt oddly like we were being watched constantly.
Yeah.
There was Gracelyn, the cup that he drank out of, and
That was its
something behind Gracelyn.
Oh.
What it was, couldn't tell ya. I'm thinking some sort of demon, but that's just me.
I like demons. Yes,
But-
they're fun.
In the end, he took Gracelyn. Uncle Silas went somewhere with Honey to keep her safe.
Speaking of demons, I forgot to tell you. Have I told you about the time your father and I got engaged in a demon fight?
Later, he drank from the cup, passed out, woke up with his eye like that. Also, a weird voice happened right as he woke up, so
Yeah.
there was that too.
Okay.
And that about sums it up. Okay.
Are we missing anything,
I'm
Adonis,
staring towards
Victor?
After I drank from the cup, I had a vision.
Oh, a
That would have
vision.
been nice to know several weeks ago.
Interesting.
How would it have been useful?
Is this like a premonition? Was it the past? What was it?
It was the future.
The future. At this point, your dad kind of goes like this and just kind of.
How long were we on the road for?
Do you have the chalice?
Yes. I'll just pull it out.
You see his eyes kind of look with an understanding and of like, as if he knows what it is, and you look as your mom also looks at it, and she goes, "Oh dear."
Yeah, so what I gathered is it's not necessarily the future that we're destined for, but it is one of many. The one that will transpire if we can't retrieve Gracelyn and Honey. It ends with just destruction.
Well, Honey's safe right now with Uncle Silas.
And everyone else in the main house.
That too.
That's why I said Graceland and Honey.
Well, the way you said it made it sound like she was definitely in danger, when we only know that
She's
one of them is
Probably
definitely
still
in
in
danger.
danger.
Yeah, but she's with Uncle Silas.
And a whole bunch
That's
of
gonna be a great
rest of
first
the
hunt
family.
to tell about. She got kidnapped.
Yes.
You know, that's not too bad.
Yes.
Getting kidnapped.
It seems that they're going to be used as sort of like a conduit for just darkness. I don't know what kind.
At this point, she just kind of starts to, and your father is still just kind of very deep in thought. Just, I feared it would happen. Hopefully not in our lifetimes. You just see him kind of stare off.
Do you want to elaborate on that? Just a little bit?
Oh, you don't read my thoughts. Never mind. Okay.
No.
So,
Am I supposed to be able to?
Have you
you're
ever
my
tried?
child.
That means
I mean, you two take after me.
I mean,
that does not
that
mean
doesn't mean
psychic
I can
connection.
read your mind. I can't even read his mind.
These eternal screams.
It's just screaming.
Just to mess with them, I'll be like, why? You can't read Father's mind? Mother and I are pretty insane. I mean,
At this
like a
she
carbon
wants-
copy of her.
she wants fire and more sweets.
At this point, she goes, yes, and she kind of looks back at you and goes, you want fire and alcohol
Of course.
mixed with the sweets.
Oh, see?
Well, you two are like carbon copies of each other.
And those generic things that you two
Alright,
always want.
She's thinking. Oh god. Many.
At this point, she just kind of nods. Yeah.
I'll give you I'll just give you one word. It involves leather.
Hey, remember those eternal screams I was talking about?
My screams are external right now.
I really got you guys that eternal screams because I'm just thinking like, what is the funniest thing I can say right now?
'Cause, like,
I'll just like I can't read his mind. The only thing I thought of was just like in the back of Damon's mind was just screams. This eternal
You guys look
damnation
over.
screams.
You see Conrad sitting there, just kind of deadpan face, not even reacting right now to anything.
Hey, look, he's doing it very well right now.
Yes.
So, you should probably, give you a little background. First, that, chalice of sorts. It is not the first time our family has been in possession of it. The last time our family was in possession of that was 1,000 years ago. All we have are texts concerning this. Last time, a certain pair of twins, girls, young, were on their first hunt. They were both taken. It is then that the celestial gate was a bit more open in the worlds. Gods had a bit more free will and communion with us. Luckily, at the time. Sadly, the two girls weren't able to be saved. A ritual of sorts was taken, as they were conduits to keys to unlocking the Dark Six.
That's what you want to hear.
Thankfully, things were more in our favor, as the Thunder and those of the Celestial Realm aided us, well, 1,000 years ago. We weren't the only family. We weren't the only monster hunting family to Helsing's. There were 6 others. They were eradicated, down to the very last of their bloodline. And the result, the Helsing family was left with 4. When this happened, all the families came together to fight this evil, with all the gods at our backs. They were, 2 girls were channeled and used as keys to open, and they became living incarnations of 2 of the gods. Lathander, as well as the 5 other gods. That's where... can't get to my book. Didn't have all this written up.
Glad you weren't a girl.
The other one's, Lathander. If I can find what I'm looking for. We had the god Bane. We had the wonderful god Elm, as well as the god Lyra. And finally, the last 2 that we had were Emilian and Mask. These gods worked together to fight off the Dark Six, as well as many, many others that they did. Thankfully, only 2 made it past the barrier at the time, and we stopped them entering and fully coming into our world. It was sadly at this time that destruction began to ensue. Shadow creatures, demons, devils came up from the deep as these gates were opened. As well as what I heard was Asmodeus had a direct hand in it. It was at this time that the heavens opened as well, and Michael the Archangel also joined the fight. It was then that, from what we hear, the chalice was used as a seer stone to find a conduit and vessel for Michael the Archangel. We were able to find one that was actually part of the Helsing family. It was in this battle of odds that we bled one of our own. This blood of light that was given to many, many of our family as well as the other families. And this gave them powers to fight and gave them skills and strength to fight these abominations from the other side. It was this battle where only 4 Helsings were left, where Michael the Archangel was able to fully close the gate. And he left back up into the heavens, closing the celestial gate more as he went, being a repercussion of closing both sides. It was because of this that these 2 sisters ended up being sent to the other side, where they are now eternally one with the Dark Six. The other ones, their souls are lost, and it is a stain upon our name. The last thing we knew about the chalice was the thunder giving us, well, the 4 remaining Helsings, a vision of sorts, a premonition, and we were given a fortune, a destiny, and he just kind of began shaking his head. That 2 twins of the Helsing family again, generations down the line, would fall once again to darkness. That we had the opportunity to stop it, that if not, destruction would ensue. That almost all living life would be eradicated off the face of Brilliance, the face of Caden, the face of the world. Michael would once again come down, and the Helsing family would no longer exist. That's what we know. It's been passed down for generations. It is in the archive, actually. It is, in the archive of Cater. It was, at this time, I hope to never see in my lifetime. The shadow that took your younger sister, Graceland, is a worker for the Dark Six. It is ones who have been promised power, who have been promised recognition in the Dark Six's new world they wish to obtain. It is said, from different interpretations and different translations from the original text, that the battle would ensue, leaving half the world in darkness and half in light. The living in one, and the dark and death on the other side. Forever in battle, forever no peace, forever war. He just kind of begins nodding. That is what I know. That's what I feared would happen. You all kind of look around the room now. You look and you see your mother, also very deep in thought, which is a little odd. You don't always see her. She tends to have this facade on her face. You never see her true feelings a lot of the time when it comes to problems and anxieties. And she goes, "It is because of this, from hearing, that we guessed Silas realized this and ushered Honey away, and they have begun calling the Helsings to cater. We will be leaving tomorrow, which is why your cousin Conrad is here. We're leaving behind a skeleton crew of hunters in every nation. And I believe everyone will be arriving tomorrow in Cajun, and then the next day we will hold council with all the families. The chalice was lost about 500 years ago. The site of our family that resides in what is Lynx. That is the island northeast, a really small one, Iliojk. They are the family that was cursed and became the tieflings. They had to make a deal to hide the chalice, as it was tried to be seized upon, and it's the reason the chalice has disappeared, and why we have a tiefling branch of the family. The chalice that you now have right there is our key to either our destruction, salvation, it also is our hope right now. And I see the chalice left a mark on you.
Yes, it did. You mentioned one of them being bled, and like holy blood or something. That coincides with what I saw in my vision. There was a man. He drank his blood from the chalice and seemed to transform into a being of light.
That was the incarnation of the Archangel
Yes.
Michael.
It didn't make sense at the time, but now that it's weird. So after seeing him cut his wrists, I just decided as a test, and I pulled my sleeve and just kind of take off the scab and all that stuff, and just like scoop up my blood in a little vial. Is it still vaguely gold?
As you look now, it is now more gold with only black specks in it.
Just holding it. And is this?
Not normal.
Yes. Well, yes, it's not normal. In anyone else, the family.
She kind of looks at it. She looks over to your guys' dad, to Jack. Jack, help me. And he goes, I don't know much about that.
Damon, could you do a test?
I could do several things, so yeah.
Get some of your blood.
I just pull my sword out from just partly from its hilt, and I kind of run my thumb along, and I just kind of do this and just drop blood right there. Is it normal looking?
It looks to be pretty normal, yes.
I won out, huh?
Lana?
Pull out one of my
It's
daggers.
like, pull it. You pull out my sword. Do it on my sword. Say, I don't think you pull out my sword.
Pull out one of my daggers and just like run it across my palm. Just normal.
It looks normal, yes.
I won out.
I don't like how this is going because it seemed like he was the last line of defense, and he won, but died in the process. So if it's a physical manifestation of an archangel, I have to assume that the archangel ceases to be.
I don't know much about celestial realms, my son, I'm sorry. From what we heard from the stories, we've done the research, we've been doing that since you've been traveling, hearing things, that the last Helsing that did that is the one who empowered the army. And he did die, yes. Mostly because from blood loss. Though, an archangel, I'm not for sure. I know there are 4 of them, and that's all we know. We don't know enough about the celestial realms. That would be a question for our friends in the... I didn't want to bring it up. Our friends in the goddess race. They are the half-sons and daughters of the angels. There are very few of them, and they don't often appear. I have met one in my lifetime who came in a very dark time, almost half god, half human, half angel. And I was all the way I believe I was, where were we, honey? And at this point Jack just kinda goes, I believe we were in Still at the time. I believe so, yes. You don't run into them often, but they would have the answers.
Did they have a distinct appearance? Or mostly gather in a certain place?
The one that we met
Next time.
was in
next episode.
these dark, beautiful grey robes, gold fringes on them, covered on their head. What we saw when he pulled back his cowl was a head completely shaven, with tattoos all across the body, but they seemed to not form patterns of sorts and seemed to almost move under the skin and exude light. The eyes were a piercing, burning gold. saw them. We talked for a moment, and he gave us advice on where to go and how to slay a creature, and gave us a blade, and was gone like that. They are messengers, more than warriors. Though I did see he carried what seemed to be the hilts of a weapon on his shoulder, strapped, as well as the hilts to weapons on his sides, though there was no blades attached.
Do you think he's still anywhere near where you last saw him? Or did he... I don't know. Do you know if he was nomadic? How are we supposed to find him?
I don't know. It is telling you who would know more, but again, we have the meeting in 2 days. We might be able to find some answers there.
Without saying anything, I stand up, take the small vial of blood and pour it into the goblet. Is there any reaction?
As you pour it in, it disappears. Almost as if it fills and it seems to drain into it, almost absorbing into it.
Now I have two things that drink
glass
blood.
change? Does the glass itself change, or? Okay.
You know, if you keep doing that, you know, the last guy died of blood loss. Maybe it just needed a little bit more blood. Just keep going with it.
There we go. No, this... Get some more sweets and sit back down, just confused.
So, if that's everything, is that everything that we wish to discuss right now?
Did I say that thing was being used for keeping up a probably massive illusion in the place that we were at?
No.
It was.
At this point, your father goes, I would assume so. It's a magical item. You could channel a lot of things into it. Makes sense. Oh, very good that you got it when you did, because...
What chance does it have HBO?
Oh. I don't know what you said. With that, anything else at all? Any questions for me or mother? For Conrad? Conrad has a wealth of knowledge concerning swords and hitting things.
I actually have like very high intelligence as well as history. Oh, religion, not history. Never mind on that one.
He knows.
Okay, I stand up and I make my way towards the archive and library.
And she's like, oh, goodness, alright, well, I guess this meeting is adjourned. I am going to go find our shields and steal some leather bindings off of them. And she walks out.
And I'm gonna go follow my brother.
Do you hear from outside? I have a decent perception, so I
Yeah.
feel like I probably would have heard that.
You all heard that. She said it very loudly.
Yeah, and then I'm immediately just running after my brother. I'm like, nope.
As you guys make your way out, you're gone. Adonis and Conrad, you're still sitting in there. And at this point, your mother, your aunt, kind of turns to you guys and goes, do you think I scared them enough?
They're
Could
pretty,
have done a little more, but scared him pretty good still.
Okay, good.
they're pretty frail, so...
I would say scared. I would say
They
gross.
need to just accept that they're adults now. Eventually, they're gonna move on away from each other, have families of their own.
Eventually, for some reason, they'll
Hopefully
hear
they
their
move
parents
away from
talking
each other
along.
before having
Oh,
families
I
of
hope
their
so.
own.
I hope so. Oh, goodness. Alright.
Without any armor.
I have a bonus if I take off armor too. But anyway,
I'm going to walk back to the room, grab the cup, and say, I'm borrowing this for research, and walk back out.
As you go to grab it, you begin kind of picking it up and you feel an almost burning sensation now shooting up your arm.
Well, shit. Wait, so am I grabbing it, or I'm about to grab
You
it?
grab it, and as soon as you grab it, you feel it's like almost as if stuff is going into you, and there's a burning sensation starting to go up your hand.
I can put it down. What the shit?
Is it too heavy for you?
Something's up with this thing.
It's too heavy for you.
Oh.
And it's burning.
Everyone in the room just kind of looks at you like, your dad raises your eyebrow, your mom just kind of.
Okay, let's try this one more time. I go to
I
pick it
assume
up
I would
again.
have just watched from like in the doorway.
Oddly enough, as that burning sensation happens, Lana, you feel a burning sensation start to come across your hand as well.
Put it down. That hurts.
Wait, so when I got the burning sensation, she got it as well? Okay, so... God damn, I'm trying to figure out exactly, because I want to see what I can find out about this thing, but I can't really do that if I can't grab it.
Put it down. That hurts.
My God.
Jeez. Do you feel anything weird when you pick it up?
No.
Also, why am I feeling it when you're picking it up? This is new.
The only weird thing was after I drank from it.
I'm gonna go pick it up now.
Conrad, as you pick it up, it feels like a chalice.
Like, you little weakling.
Do you have any siblings?
Yes, you do.
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Alright.
You have 5 brothers.
Okay, so...
Or sorry, 4 brothers.
But
Yes,
is he a twin?
I do. Quintuplets. No, pentuplets. Is the
They're
word.
actually all the same age. There's 5 that were born at the same time.
That's unfortunate. Poor mom.
And all of them are identical.
All of them 6'5".
Oh, your poor mother.
Those were big babies.
They just
Big
came
6'5".
They all came out 6'5".
I say fuck it, and I walk back out again.
Well, now I'm curious, and I'm gonna walk up to Conrad and just. Can I hold it?
Are you stronger than your brother is?
Probably.
And I'll hand it to you.
I'm gonna grab it.
As you pick it up, so when you first picked it up, the burning got about to right here. And as you pick it up, you feel it continuing where it left off, going up your arm, and you feel it as well in the hallway.
What
At this point, it's like hurting a lot more, and it almost feels like your arm is in fire.
Oh, nope, that's unpleasant. That's uncomfortable. I'm gonna set it down.
Yes, you hear a shout. Put it down, damn it!
And I'll put it down.
Are there any markings on her arm?
Or not, no.
Can I feel like about how high did it go?
It got up to about mid-bicep.
Just,
Now it's tempting to just take it and touch them.
just like.
Well, that doesn't mean you touching it to us is going to be the same thing as us grabbing it.
Does it feel like this? Like part of my arm
When
feel
they're asleep,
warmer?
set
That,
it on
like,
their
As soon
forehead.
as you set it down, it just feels normal.
hey, Uncle Victor.
Yeah.
Pick it up.
He kind of looks, and you realize he's pretty drunk right now.
Oh boy.
He kind of goes, challenge accepted. He kind of walks up to it, takes it, and picks it up, and goes, weakling.
Oh, that's so weird. I'm gonna grab just like a
At
piece
this
of-
point, he kind of leans over to you guys. It's one of the Franks again.
Yeah.
Oh man, they're never gonna believe us. I'm gonna just like grab a piece of fabric from like my clothes if I like have fabric in between my hands, and it does it do the same thing.
As you pick it up again, you feel it now because you pick it up, I assume, with the other hand.
Yeah, I would pick it up like wrap like fabric around my
So
head.
you're gonna pick it up, and you immediately feel it now going up the other arm.
Son of a.
This time, the pain is about 3 times as bad as it was previously.
Is there a? I assume I have a bag. I'm gonna throw it in the bag. For research. Then I'm going to the art
felt in your life. Damon.
So you just hear probably like some sort of pained sound coming from down the hallway, and then me in the room.
Those internal screams are now external screams.
No, they're still kind of trying to be internal.
It's more like a.
It almost, as you do, you kind of lean up against the wall, Damon, kind of feeling that pain, and it's taking everything you can not to just like pass out as everything begins to like zone and spin.
I still feel that pain when it's in the bag. Okay, so is he still feeling it though?
No, this was during it.
Okay. So I throw it in the bag, and then run after my brother, and just
That cup is bullshit.
yeah, like what the hell?
Oh, I
You
had
are
so
not
much
worthy.
planned.
I know.
Well, no, I'm just like
As characters are saying that cup is bullshit.
yeah, because we're like, what the heck? Why does it only hurt us?
You are not pure of heart.
Dude,
And you are, yeah.
do you think they're gonna believe us?
I mean,
not.
I'm the one with the golden blood, so.
That means nothing.
No, I'm pretty sure it means something.
Means that your blood is definitely weird now.
You could sell that crap on eBay.
On the Dungeons and Dragons equivalent of eBay.
So the black market.
Yeah.
You mean
Saints
the
Dragon
normal market.
Saints Dragon Blood!
So,
Boom.
and we're the Helsings, it's credible.
Exactly!
Yeah. And I'm just gonna be like, have a cup. We're just gonna dump it out of the back. We're not touching this shit ever
That's
again.
fine.
But maybe if we could figure out why.
Again, that's why we're researching it.
I mean, I'm honestly a little more concerned about how it's potentially affecting Adonis than how it's affecting us.
I'm gonna research a ton of different shit on this thing. Just, we need to get to the archive first, that way I can do that.
Yeah, well,
Theories are only theories until proven, so.
yeah, but I mean.
So you guys end up making your way down a big staircase down into the basement, and in the basement there is it's not really a basement as it is like a whole nother floor underground. It's very nice. Like there's a wine cellar down there. There's a cold food room, a whiskey cellar, a rum cellar.
Jesus Christ.
It's you guys make your own alcohol and are connoisseurs, the family is of it. And as you make your way down, there's also where a lot of the training took place, training rooms, obstacle courses, and all sorts of other things. So as you guys are kind of there, you walk up to these two large gargoyles that are these large statues. And you both kind of look at each other and both just kind of look at the gargoyles. And Alana, you just go, lemon drop. And these gargoyles kind of stand up and kind of crawl sideways out of the way and kind of open up to a staircase that leads down.
I don't know, Mom probably picked that. And just down the stairs. Mom really loves our sweets.
So you guys, make your way down. And so, really quick, for your guys' archives down there, it's full of knowledge gathered from generations upon generations of Helsings. It is probably has the most knowledge anywhere in the world. These archives you have, minus the one in Cater. In there is also all sorts of magical items, cursed items, things that you're unsure about, stuff that shouldn't exist, skulls, potions, all sorts of these things that some don't even have names, they're just there, and you'd have to do research to even find out what they are. And you guys make your way to this large book that takes at least 2 people to even lift. It's probably about 4 feet tall by 3 feet wide. And it is known as the Codex, which has everything where it would be where to look it up.
Is there like a central kind of like table where you can like study and bring books?
There's
to?
all sorts of tables. There's a lounge there as well as there's a fireplace that is currently burning as well. Because it is underground, it is actually very cold down there because it's so deep. So yeah, there's a comfortable like study area, as well as there's a large grand piano that is playing on its own, enchanted to play very beautiful classical music.
I will go find somewhere kind of in the study area and kind of tip my bag enough to like shake the chalice out, and I'll use one of my bolts from my hand crossbow to kind of stand it upright so you
As
can look
you
at
go
it.
to knock it out, you look and you realize the fabric with it is being eaten away and being absorbed into it.
Nope, nope, nope.
As you go to do it, like stuck to it because it's absorbing it currently. And you touch it a couple times with the crossbow bolts, and you're just kind of poking it, trying to get it off. And you pull at the bolt, and you look, and the whole tip is like been partially started to absorb.
Damon?
It's a mimic.
I'm a little it's eating my bag.
You look now as you kind of pull it out, and you kind of open your bag, and you see little holes are kind of appearing across the bottom where it was.
It was a good bag. I've had it since my first hunt.
Okay.
So I just have to kind of standing in the center of the table so we can have a good look at it while we were trying to research it.
And and we're gonna range up Conrad and Adonis. Do you guys go down to there as well, do any research or anything?
I'll turn to it and be like, why are we letting the two people who can't even hold the cup research the cup?
That's a good question. But I'm hungry.
Yes, you've been sitting here.
Oh man, all this food is
At this
making me
point, you say
hungry.
you're hungry, and then all of a sudden, over your shoulder, you hear, "How can I help you? What can I get for you?" And you look over, and you see Chauncey,
Yes.
who is a wonderful, wonderful hobgoblin,
Jeez.
just kind of there. Go,
Oh, thank you, Chauncey. Is there any stew?
I can make anything you want.
Actually,
We have our wonderful chef, Mr. Tubbs, is in today. He said I can get him to make anything for you. You guys do know Mr. Tubbs is this very large elf.
No, I'm
Like,
just
not the
thinking-
skinny elf, the huge elf that has a huge belly, who has worked for the Helsing family for over 600 years as a cook.
No, I just think that's a really fun name for a cat.
This is Mr. Tubbs.
Mr. Tubbs.
well, I feel like curry sounds really nice.
Curry, huh? I will do that. Where will you be, and we'll bring it down?
I think I'll just stay right here.
Bring it to the archives.
To the archives.
It's cold down there.
There's a fire down there.
I know.
Should
All right,
be
make the curry spicy then. As
Alright,
well.
we will send it down, spicy for you.
just regular.
Regular.
Yeah, regular.
Regular, okay. Alright, I will have it sent down, since we're not allowed in there. You'll find it will appear on the central table, or not the central, one of the tables, I don't know, I've never been down there. So, I will go talk with Mr. Tubbs now, Mistress. Kinda bows, and he kinda walks out very bow-legged, just kind of walking out like that. You guys make your way down to the archives, not too far behind your two siblings.
Can I hear them coming down?
Just clonk, clonk.
You could
You
probably.
definitely-
Yeah.
You guys walk
His
up to the
speech.
two gargoyles, which are once again closed, and at this point, you kind of look at it, and you go, and choose your passwords. Your mother told you that lemon drop's the only thing that would work.
Of course she did.
Open sesame.
It opens.
At least we know we get our pranks from Mom.
You do. Your mom does like to pull pranks, you know.
As soon as I hear it coming down, your stupid cup ate my bag.
You're the one that put it in there.
Well, I didn't know.
Really? That's what you're worried about? Not the fact that the solid metal thing is eating things?
Ever seen a mimic before?
That's not... if it was a mimic, it probably would have tried to bite our heads off by
I
now.
just
It
watched it
just-
absorb my blood, so
It just has a really small mouths on it or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
has like just a bunch of tiny mouths.
And I'm starting to
Kinda
ignore
like
them.
termites. Just
And I am looking for
I was gonna say
any
codex.
books. I'm not even looking at the codex for like stuff on different monsters. I'm looking for stuff on different kinds of magic. Anything I can find.
I'm gonna
From just like types of
curl up.
magic,
If only I was
things
a
like
werewolf.
what can be used to cast spells, stuff like that. I'm curious to see.
What are you looking for? Because 95% of what's down there is magical.
I'm looking for specifically what I'm looking for is what exactly. What is this cup made of, and why? What gives it kind of the ability to be able to create such a large-scale spell as it did?
Okay, you need to be more specific to me
Okay.
because that is so broad. I need a certain subject that you can actually look for.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like sitting there, I'm like, there's so that involves like at least 75% of the things you just said.
Okay.
So I'm like, they choose a certain subject to look into it, something to look into for that. There's a fly right there.
While he's thinking
that
about
would
how to
help.
Yeah, while he's thinking about how to specify, may I have the ability or an item like a placemat or a ring down here to polymorph into a cat so I can lay in front of the fire? Maybe that's just like a fun thing in the house. It could be like a cat bed, and then you just get in it, and then you.
Or kind of like hybrid, all of our werewolf pelts are like piled in a bed in front of the fire.
A pile of pelts.
There are piles of monster felts, and they are right by the fire, like big blankets and stuff. But no, there is not anything for polymorph. I'm
Dang.
sorry.
You can't turn into a cat, but you can lay in front of the fire.
There is like a therapist chair in front of the fire. It is one of the favorite places of your mom, where she sits there and she turns to the fire and just reads. And
Tell me
so
about your feelings.
we have the fire here. So the fires are kind of on both sides, and there's 4 of them all on the corners. Except the 2 to the farthest corner are a lot closer, and there's heat coming from both sides. It was your mom designed it, had it built in so she could lay and have heat on both sides.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna burrow and become a burrito of pelts.
It is so warm.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't felt this warm and comfortable since last time you were in this very spot.
I'm just gonna be flipping through the codex and just be like, you are useless.
Well, is the codex on a shelf or something, or is it already laying out?
It's on a huge pedestal thing, so it's like.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I want to look
It's
for
got stone
anything-
pages.
I want to look for just if there is anything with just magical chalices. Like, if there is a genre about magical chalices.
Make an investigation check.
I'm gonna yell out to them. Find something about like channeling holy angels or magic blood or holy blood or something, and I
Later.
just
Long,
kind of.
give me a minute, and then 27.
27. Yeah, you find there's a certain area of the part where you have to end up walking down all these different hallways and stuff, and you eventually open up this cabinet, have to move this false back in the cabinet away, and then you crawl into the cabinet, which goes into another room. And in this room here, you just kind of stand up, walk around, and you find inside there's a bunch of magical items that are actually different chalices, different drinks, containers, bowls, things like that. And you find a couple books in there, and you find 2 books in there in particular. The first book that you find in there looks to be a catalog of all of the magic, like bowls, chalices, cups, silverware, and stuff that is owned. And the other one looks to be based upon more how to make these items. There isn't much on like legendary stuff to it. It's more because it's so old. Everything in the family is more based upon fact of things that are known because the family's been around, and so much knowledge is shared.
Since it did belong in the family at some point, technically speaking, I'll grab the one that's about the like owned ones, and then just for fun, also the one about how you make them. Cause I don't know if we made it. I don't know. So I'll just take those, crawl back through, and weave my way
So
back.
you crawl back through, close the false thing, put the stuff back where it goes,
Yeah.
close that, and I'm going through the maze of shelves back to the middle.
And I'll go to the table where I have the chalice, and I'll sit down and I'll start flipping through. And I don't know if there are pictures or not, but I'll just look for any pictures or any like written descriptions that
It's just
match.
So you see the catalog. Each a page is dedicated to each object. There's no pictures to them at all. There's a couple sketches and drawings of different unique marks and things upon that. It's all written in by hand by past Helsings.
Okay. Well, anything that says goblet or chalice, I'll take the time to look over and see
Yeah,
if
so,
it matches the description.
Everything with goblet you go through first, and just chalices you go through, and you kind of come down to 3 different chalices that all reference. The first one you see kind of references the fact that this one is a oracle chalice. Tells the future among other things. The second one looks to be a chalice that was made by the gods, that was really unknown what it does, as everything that it was filled or used around it, it absorbed. And the final chalice looked to be one that bestowed powers upon the user when stuff was drunk from it.
So in a weird way, all 3 descriptions match.
I was just
this
about to say
chalice.
yes.
Yes.
Almost like these 3 chalices had been combined.
Maybe.
Or are they describing this same chalice? And they just don't know it. I don't know.
As you go reading the descriptions, the first one looks to be the celestial one looks to be one of the truest silver, never tarnishes, built by the gods. The second one looks to be a very basic brass one, simple, what it was used for. And the third and final one, oddly enough, was made of almost glass, but crystal so harder than any diamond, unable to be broken.
Is there, I don't remember, was there any like glass or crystal elements to the chalice that were visible?
Not that you could see, no.
It's possible, but just the power and it.
The one we have, what's it look to be made out of?
It looks
It's
like
it looks to be
brass.
brass, and it have a silver ring of true silver going off of it, from
Which
what
is-
you guys
yeah.
could see. Because you guys never made any further investigation really on it.
I'm not gonna touch it, but I want to kind of like look around it, and
Making a
I'm looking specifically for like crystal at this point.
so you kind of begin looking, and you realize the true silver there.
30, by the way, if you want to make
Yeah, so you begin looking, kind of just trying to figure it out, and you realize the true silver around the edges of it looks to be a diamond sort of thing that kind of wraps around it that is so clear that you didn't notice it until you made the further inspection. The only reason you saw it is because it caught the light just perfect.
I'm assuming, do we keep like scratch paper, I'm assuming, around?
Yes, there is so much scratch paper. There's like things for bindings for books.
I figured.
You
I'll
see
just take a few
stuff to add in.
Yeah, I'll take a few strips to like bookmark those sections of this book, and then just kind of. I'm assuming you guys are just hanging out eating if your food has arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, about this time the food has arrived.
No,
I
they feel
smell it. Just, I emerge from my cocoon.
Yeah. I'll just kind of like meander around, like looking over their shoulder a little bit as I'm eating.
So I don't think that this is the original form this chalice was in. It seems to be maybe a combination of 3 different chalices
I
that have
told
been
you.
owned by the Helsing family.
I told you it's a mimic that ate the other 2 chalices.
About at this point, you all of a sudden get this you have all of a sudden eating over your shoulder, and then Dawn just kind of walks by. You guys kind of looking behind, and you get this overwhelming hot smell that makes your eyes start watering of a Kilumana-based curry that is the spiciest in the world.
Back up, please. What's your spicy food? Had enough burning. My.
It's tempting to drink from the chalice again.
No, do
There's
not.
nothing in the chalice
Don't
right
drink
now,
from this
so-
chalice.
I could just drink the curry.
No, please do
Ugh.
not. Do not drink from
Dude,
this
that
chalice.
sounds kind of nasty, not gonna lie.
I'll just pour it in and...
I'm just gonna.
Well, then you wouldn't be drinking, you'd be eating it.
Well, same concept.
You'd have like, it's pretty much having a overly spectacular bowl.
Indeed.
I'll just kind of like, I don't know if you've wandered off, or just be like, Damon, did you want to look at this one? The one I've already flipped through.
So where are you looking at other things right now?
Okay, so if I can, so specific as I can kind of think of is, spells on illusion, and things that can be used to cast spells.
Alright, go
Kind of
make
that
an
look
investigation
or-
check for
or
both
like
of those.
the cup. Okay, so
So objects that can channel magic.
yeah.
Go ahead and make investigation check for both. Roll for the first one.
Okay, let's hope I don't roll shit, because my first roll today has been garbage. Let's see. Okay, that's not too terrible. 17.
And roll for the second one.
Okay.
Treat.
Yeah, that's a natural one.
Yeah, you are unable to find anything that has to do with channeling. You go through the codex probably like 30 times, just going through trying to find where it would be housed or anything, and you're like, wow, we don't have anything pertaining to this subject, oddly enough. And you go for the other one, you kind of look through, and you're like, okay, oh, okay. So you kind of begin going, and you find, go down to this wizarding section that has to do with spells, and you kind of go through the section that has to do with illusions, and you kind of pull out a couple of these scrolls that are marked, and you know these are the ones of great illusion spells that have been used, and like how they were used.
Yeah, because it's just like, in my head, it's just like, I'm looking for anything that, like Uncle Victor said, you know, like, some powerful wizards could make illusions real. I'm more looking into, like, what kind of spell that would kind of be like, and how it was able to kind of be sustained for so long, if it was just, like, one thing, or if it was just, like, the chalice itself.
Make
doing
another
all of it.
investigation check as you are reading through these.
Okay, let's hope it.
As you're kind of, this section has scrolls, so you're kind of deep in
Okay.
everything. Damon's not by you right
God
now, so
damn,
he's
that's
reading.
freaking.
So I was just
nah.
like,
That is a 9.
So yeah, with the ones you're looking through, you find a couple that are of importance that kind of stick out to you. First one that you see was kind of had to do with about the fact that most of the time to get this magic, it tends to be used. Okay.
That's still on.
Can't hear. Tends to be used more with channeling primordial magic a lot of the time. A lot of the time it has to do primordial, and
Like beginning of the universe type magic.
yeah, stuff that's been around for ages.
Okay.
You see also that celestial magic can have this effect when used. Again, the things you see with humanly possible people channeling have to do with ley lines, is what you read. You do find one that's a little interesting, that looked to be about 300 years ago. One of your great-great-grandfathers was on a mission, actually up into the wastelands, trying to recover something of a town there, and discovered a magician, a black magician, that had made deals with certain very, very powerful entities to create a city in the wastes that had people, corporeal objects, among other things. And everything seemed to be real. And as soon as your grandfather had fought this wizard, who he himself was a very, very accomplished wizard, the illusion faded away. That's all you find, though.
Okay. Okay, I can work with that.
The two of us have a brief little conversation where he asks if his eye. He's like, I wonder if my eye has anything to do with it. So then I look at his eye.
Go ahead and make a perception.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. What do I want you to do? I want you to go ahead and make a let's go investigation check.
Sorry, investigation?
Yes, sorry.
Six.
Man, his eye is very white. Kind of creepy looking. There's literally nothing there, it just looks white, not even blood veins or anything.
If I close my eyes, because I already know I'm blind in that eye now. If I close my eyes, do I see anything?
Make a wisdom save.
Yay! Save 15.
As you just kind of close your eyes and kind of concentrate on the eye, just kind of feel any energy or anything there, all of a sudden, the world around you, kind of open your eyes. And you watch this, Conrad, as he just kind of zones out. And around you, you see rubble. You see what looks to be everything in tatters. Books are burned to ash. Magic items are shattered all around you. You see what looks to be your mother, your two with Conrad, and you see all of his brothers as well, all down inside this wonderful basement, and they seem to be fighting, and you watch as all of a sudden the body of your Uncle Victor gets thrown down the stairs and hits down completely bloodied. The same injury that you saw earlier of these pulsating black wounds across him. And you see your mother looking around really worried. You see the twins now of Damon and Lana are gone, as well as your father are no longer there. And you see your mother and your friend Conrad and his brothers running. And you see them looking behind them as fire is all around, getting chased. Things are flying around. Darkness is all ensuing around. You watch as your mother jumps out of the way as this lance of shadow comes and hits Conrad's brother in.
Hey guys, this is Cole from RollsWithBenefits. I'm the player of Warren and Damon. I'm also the channel's editor. So if you made it all this way to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching and supporting us and watching our live streams and everything else. But the video and stream ended short because we lost power to our computer, and we didn't go too far after the point where it stops. It was only about maybe 4 or 5 minutes. But pretty much our DM Zach tells our player Kyle that his character Adonis is just kind of seeing this dark vision. Whether it's true or not, I personally can't remember. Whether it's just a vision of a possible future, it's still I'm not 100% sure. But that's pretty much all that really happened. We pretty much called the session right there because we didn't want to do anything else because we wanted to have everyone who was watching see as well. So we're sorry that it just cut right there, and of course everything else, we are still constantly trying to make sure that we are starting on time, but we still have technical issues that appear every so often, so we thank everyone for understanding that we are not smart when it comes to technology. But again, we thank everyone for watching and supporting our videos and our live streams and just everything that we're doing. So pretty much this is where the video will end. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that we get to see everyone next Thursday. This is Cole from Rolls with Benefits. See ya.